guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see from the title, background, and thumbnail, we are talking about Batman Knightfall Part 1. So, this is one of the latest DC animated films, and I'm going to be straight up forward. I wasn't, honestly, that excited about it because, I love the DC animated films. Flashpoint's one of my favorites. Superman Red Sun. I love a lot of the different Batman animated films. DC strives when they make fucking amazing DC animated films. Like, there's some of the best things you can ever watch out there. I love their animated films. But Batman Knightfall has got a lot of traction over the past couple months, but it's one of those Batman comics I've never read. It's so famous for what it does, so I know of the story, but I've never personally read it. I've always wanted to. So, I was excited to see the film, but it honestly came out, and I'm like, oh, fuck, it's out? I need to go watch that. I didn't know it was out yet because I was just scrolling on TikTok, and I saw a clip, and I was like, oh, wait, the movie's out. I need to go fucking watch that. So, the thing is, too, I thought maybe it was out on physical, so I went and looked for it, and I couldn't find it. And I'm like, oh, it's only out on digital. The physical copy doesn't come out until September because I'm more of a physical person more than I am digital. So I was like, all right. So I went ahead and rented it, and I watched it, and I gotta say, man, I don't know this story, so I'm sure there's a lot of things in here that I'm gonna talk about, and it's like, go read the book and you can find more out. But I'm just judging it based off of the film itself. This is one of the best animated films I've seen in a long time, and it's one of those stories that I can understand now why it's hailed as one of the classics, one of the best Batman stories of all time. Because again, like I said earlier, I know bits and pieces of the story. This story is so famous in the Batman lore that there's so many other iterations that have pulled from it. I mean, Dark Knight Rises is a loose adaptation of this film. You got Snyder's version that's also taking elements from Batman Knightfall, So there's so many iterations of Batman that they have pulled from this comic that it's like, can it still be fresh? Can it still be as good as it once was? Because so many people have cherry picked from it. And again, I gotta say, man, like I said, it is such a good fucking story. It is such a good fucking story. I gotta start with the big man in the room, Bane. Michael Mando as Bane is amazing. I mean, he's having a killer fucking year so far. I mean, he was Scorpion and Brand New Day. Now he's in this. Dude, he is fucking menacing as Bane. And I gotta say, man, Bane is one of my favorite villains of all time. I'm not saying that he's underutilized in most projects, but in the ones that he is in, like some of the live action films where Batman and Robin, he was just a fucking joke. Tom Hardy, that's Nolan's version, so he's not the Bane that's juiced up and fucking, so that's a different iteration. This is the Bane that I want to see in the DCU or any sort of live action film going forward. I loved how menacing he was. I loved how just he hid in the shadows, and that he was just that's why I love Bane, because to me, Batman, and I know Joker and Two-Face and other villains are like his match. I've always looked at Bane as Batman's superior match because he has the strength, he has the mind, he has the body. I would say out of all the villains, I know Joker's put Batman through some shit. I know other characters have before, but Bane to me has always been one of those characters that he's always going to be his other half, his greatest match, because of the fact that, again, I know Bane has that venom in him, and I know that's 95% of what makes him what he is. But even if you strip that away, this dude is smart. This dude is powerful without all of that venom. You know what I mean? And so it's one of those where it's like, I've always looked at him at his greatest adversary for that exact reason. And this film beautifully showed that, with him being stuck at the bottom of this shitty pit, and for years read this Thomas Wayne magazine that he got from when he was a child, and just learned and kept reading it, and just finally one day became this man, just this powerful dude. And I love that story, and that's something about Bane that I've always loved, is the mystique around him. You don't really know his name at all. I don't even know if in the comics, I'm sure there's different iterations and different storylines where they've actually told his story and his name and all that shit, like his actual origin. But this is the Bane that I love, where it's just, nope, he was born in prison, and him and his mother was in prison for a long fucking time, and his mother died, and then he just became the greatest adversary that everyone is scared of this fucking man. That's the Bane I love. I don't love a lot of these other different iterations of Bane, but that's the one I love. So I thought they killed Bane. I thought they killed it with Bane in this film. He is so fucking scary, so menacing. You know, Michael Mando. I don't know if there was any modulations in his voice in the post or anything like that, but his voice is so fucking menacing, man, so fucking menacing, and I loved it. I loved it. Anson Mount plays Batman, Bruce Wayne in this. I'm not very familiar with him. He does a lot of Star Trek stuff. The only thing I know him from mainly is he played Black Bolt in Doctor Strange and in the Inhuman show. He was great in that. So I'm not really like too familiar with him, but he was great. He was great in this animated film. He voices Batman perfectly, perfectly. Another character we have in here that I'm not too familiar with. I only know him mainly from the Arkham games and like some other comic storylines that he's appeared in is Azrael. And so to me, I was locked in on that. I thought that was so interesting to get Azrael's story because again, I'm not too familiar with him. He's a character that again I know like surface level stuff about, but not too much about. Again, mainly from the Arkham games. So it was really cool to actually get his story here. Another thing I thought was actually really cool was seeing the whole breakdown of Bruce Wayne, breakdown of Batman, seeing Bane's plan go exactly. I mean, he's not really in the film that much. I mean, he's like the first 30 minutes is his origin, birth in prison, leading up to when he finally escapes prison. Then the rest of it is just Batman taking on everybody from Arkham Asylum after he blew it up. And I love seeing that. Like Bane is the mastermind behind this whole plan, but he doesn't need to always show up for you to know Bane is in control right now. And I love seeing that. I love seeing the de-esque of Batman going down. I love seeing that. Just him getting broken down as a human. And then finally Bane comes in and was like, all right, I think I watered you down enough. It's time for me to break you. And I loved that. I just loved seeing that fall of Batman. You know, we also have Tim Drake in here as well. He's always one of the Robins I'm not too familiar with. I'm more in line with Dick and Jason's story. I know their stories very well. Tim's, he's kind of one of those, again, certain storylines I've seen him in and certain comics I know a little bit about him. But he's never been the Robin that I'm like fully versed in. I did think it was cool that we got a mention of Death of the Family, the cool little like screenshot of the iconic image from the comic. I thought that was really fucking cool. But if anything, what I kept thinking the whole time while watching this was like, this is the perfect gateway if they wanted to introduce Batman to the DCU. You don't have to do origin shit. You don't have to do this. Just pick up a storyline like Knightfall, Death of the Family, whatever you want to do. Mainly, I would lean more towards Knightfall. Like, that would be cool if James Gunn and them wanted to introduce Batman as in something like a Knightfall, because it already establishes Batman's been doing this for a couple years. You know, he already has a couple Robins underneath his belt. He's already, you know, fought Riddler and Joker and all these other people. And I love that. I love how they just threw you in and you didn't need it at all. You know, you didn't need all of that shit. That's what I thought was so cool. You know, he's taking on the Mad Hatter, which is a villain we never hardly fucking see in any media outside of the Arkham games. You know, he's taking on villains like the ventriloquist. You know, I know fucking James Gunn would love to do that shit because he's fucking weird like that. You know, I love seeing that there's Batman fighting these rogues throughout Gotham, and I feel like you could do a movie like that. I'm not saying exactly adapt Knightfall, but do the template of Knightfall of just somebody, whether it's Bane, whoever you want to introduce. They can all escape from Arkham, and the whole movie is just about Batman tired, effortlessly trying to put everybody back. I think you could do that and not have to like worry about like, oh, we got to tell this origin. We got to set up Riddler. We got to set up Victor Zsasz, which it was cool to see Victor Zsasz, especially because if we know, I'm going to say it's 100% that we know, but it is a slight rumor that maybe Sebastian Stan's playing Victor Zsasz in Matt Reeves' The Batman Part 2. So it was kind of cool to see Victor Zsasz be like, I wonder if this is what Sebastian Stan's going to be playing. So, like, to me, that's what I kept thinking the whole time was like, this is the perfect entry for something like a DCU. Just literally do this exactly like this. We don't need to set up Batman's origin. We don't need to do all that shit. Just literally pick up a storyline and run with it. And I would love if Bane would be the first villain in the DCU because of this exact reason. The dude's a fucking menace, man. You know, he is such one of the greatest adversaries against Batman. That's why I love him. He's my favorite Batman villain for that exact reason. And I feel like Bane's never got his due. I think we live in a world where people can maybe get used to the idea of a venom juice making him like 20, 30 times large. I think you could do that and people would not think it's too silly. So I think it's plausible. But yeah, man, honestly, Batman Knightfall is one of the best animated films in a while, in a long time. And I'm so fucking excited about Batman Part 2 and 3 because this is going to be a trilogy, dude. And if Part 2 and 3 are as good as Part 1, this might be one of the best trilogies we've had in the whole animated DC universe in a long fucking time. A long fucking time. So yeah, guys, you guys jump in the comments. You let me know. What did you think of this? If you did check it out, you let me know. And I'm hoping, because I think they said by the time Part 3 comes out, it's going to be early 2027. I'm hoping to get the Batman Knightfall book, read it, so that way at the end of Part 3, I can give you a little bit of comparisons between what they did better in the book or what they did better in the animated film, and kind of do like a little bit of a comparison. I know the Knightfall book is like fucking thick. It's a big fucking book. That's why they split it into 3 parts. But yeah, guys, you guys jump in the comments. You let me know. Did you like this? Have you seen it? If not, by all means, please tell me, check it out. Such a really good Batman film. It's only like an hour and 10, hour and 15. It's not that long. But if it comes on Max soon or any other streaming platform, definitely watch it. It's one of the better animated films out there. So you guys jump in the comments. You let me know. What did you think of this? Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.